The thoughts we choose to think are the tools we use to paint the canvas of our lives. I still remember when I first heard that I could change my life if I was willing to change my thinking. It was a revolutionary idea for me. At that time, I was living in New York and had discovered the Church of Religious Science. People often confuse the Church of Religious Science, or Science of Mind, founded by Ernest Holmes, with the Christian Science Church, founded by Mary Baker Eddy. While they both reflect new thought, they are distinct philosophies. The Science of Mind has ministers and practitioners who carry on the teachings of the Church of Religious Science. They were the first people to tell me that my thoughts shaped my future. Although I didn't fully understand what they meant, this concept touched what I call the inner ding within me, that intuitive voice inside. Over the years, I've learned to follow it. When that ding goes yes, even if it seems like a crazy choice, I know it's right for me. These concepts struck a chord in me. Something inside said, yes, they're right. And so began my journey of learning how to change my thinking. Once I accepted this idea and said yes to it, I embarked on a journey of discovery. I read countless books, and my home soon became like many of yours, filled with spiritual and self-help books. I attended classes for many years and explored everything related to the subject. I immersed myself in the New Thought philosophy. It was the first time in my life that I really studied something in depth. Up until then, I didn't believe in anything. My mother was a lapsed Catholic, and my stepfather was an atheist. I had a strange idea that Christians either wore hair shirts or were eaten by lions, neither of which appealed to me. I delved into the science of mind because it was an open avenue for me at the time, and I found it truly wonderful. At first, it was relatively easy. I grasped a few concepts and started to think and talk a little differently. Back then, I was a constant complainer, full of self-pity, and loved to wallow in negativity. I didn't realize that I was perpetuating more experiences that made me feel sorry for myself. But then again, I didn't know any better. Gradually, I found that I wasn't complaining quite so much. I started to pay attention to what I was saying. I became aware of my self-criticism and tried to stop it. I began to recite affirmations, even though I didn't fully understand their meaning. I started with the easy ones, of course, and soon small changes began to occur. I got the green lights and the parking spaces, and I thought I was hot stuff. I was convinced I knew it all and soon became cocky, arrogant, and dogmatic in my beliefs. I felt I had all the answers. In hindsight, I realized this was my way of feeling safe in this new area. When we start to move away from our old, rigid beliefs, especially if we've been in total control before, it can be scary. It was frightening for me, so I clung to anything that made me feel safe. It was just the beginning for me, and I still had a long way to go. And I still do. Like most of us, I didn't always find the path easy and smooth. Babbling affirmations didn't work all the time, and I couldn't understand why. I asked myself, what am I doing wrong? Immediately, I blamed myself. Was this another example of me not being good enough? That was a favorite old belief of mine. At the time, my teacher, Eric Pace, would look at me and mention the idea of resentment. I had no idea what he was talking about. Resentment. Me. Surely, I didn't have any resentments. After all, I was on my spiritual path. I was spiritually perfect. How little I could see myself then. I continued doing the best I could in my life. I studied metaphysics and spirituality and learned about myself as much as possible. I grasped what I could and sometimes applied it. Often, we hear many things but don't always practice them. Time flew by, and after about 3 years of studying science of mind, I had become a practitioner of the church. I began teaching the philosophy, but I wondered why my students seemed to be floundering. I couldn't understand why they were so stuck in their problems. I gave them so much good advice, why weren't they using it and getting better? It never occurred to me that I was speaking the truth more than I was living it. I was like a parent who tells their child what to do but then does the opposite. Then, seemingly out of the blue, I was diagnosed with vaginal cancer. First, I panicked. Then, I began to doubt everything I had been learning. It was a normal reaction. I thought, if I was clear and centered, I wouldn't have created this illness. In hindsight, I think I felt safe enough at that point to let the illness surface so that I could do something about it, rather than having it be another hidden secret that I wouldn't know about until it was too late. By then, I knew too much to hide from myself any longer. I knew that cancer was a disease of resentment, held for so long that it eats away at the body. When we stifle our emotions inside, they have to go somewhere in the body. If we spend a lifetime stuffing things down, they eventually manifest as physical ailments. I became very aware that the resentment my teacher had often referred to within me was related to the physical, emotional, and sexual abuse I experienced as a child. Naturally, I would have resentment. I was bitter and unforgiving of the past. I had never worked to change or release the bitterness and let it go. When I left home, it was all I could do to forget what happened. I thought I had put it behind me, but in reality, I had simply buried it. When I found my metaphysical path, I covered up my feelings with a nice layer of spirituality and hid a lot of garbage inside me. I put up a wall around myself that kept me out of touch with my own feelings. I didn't know who I was or where I was. After my diagnosis, the real inner work of learning to know myself began. Thank God, I had tools to use. I knew I needed to go within myself if I was going to make any permanent changes. Yes, the doctor could give me an operation and perhaps take care of my illness for the moment, but if I didn't change the way I was using my thoughts and words, I'd probably recreate it again. I find it interesting to learn where in our bodies we store our cancers, on which side of the body are our tumors, the left or the right. The right side represents the masculine side, where we give out. The left side represents the feminine side, where we take in. Almost all my life, when anything went wrong, it was always on the right side of my body. It was where I stored all my resentment toward my stepfather. I was no longer content to just get green lights and parking spaces. I knew I had to go much deeper. I realized I wasn't progressing in my life the way I wanted because I hadn't cleared out the old garbage from childhood, and I wasn't living what I was teaching. I had to recognize the inner child inside me and work with her. My inner child needed help because she was still in great pain. I quickly began a self-healing program in earnest. I concentrated completely on myself and did little else. I became very committed to getting well. Some of it was a little weird, but I did it anyway. After all, this was my life on the line. It became almost a 24-hour-a-day job for the next 6 months. I read and studied everything I could find about alternative ways to heal cancer because I truly believed it could be done. I did a nutritional cleansing program that detoxified my body from all the junk food I had eaten for years. For months, I seemed to live on sprouts and pured asparagus. I know I ate other things, but that's what I remember the most. I worked with my Science of Mind practitioner and teacher, Eric Pace, to clear the mental patterns so the cancer wouldn't return. I said affirmations, did visualizations, and practiced spiritual mind treatments. I did daily sessions in front of a mirror. The most difficult words to say were, "I love you, I really love you." It took a lot of tears and deep breathing to get through it. When I did, it felt like a quantum leap. I also went to a good psychotherapist who helped me express and release my anger. I spent a long time beating pillows and screaming. It felt wonderful because I had never, ever had permission to do that in my life. I'm not sure which method worked, maybe a little bit of everything did. Most of all, I was consistent. I practiced during all my waking hours. I thanked myself before I went to sleep for what I had done during the day. I affirmed that my healing process was taking place in my body while I slept and that I would wake up in the morning feeling bright, refreshed, and good. In the morning, I would thank myself and my body for the work done during the night. I affirmed that I was willing to grow and learn each day and make changes without seeing myself as a bad person. I also worked on understanding and forgiveness. One of the ways I did this was by exploring my parents' childhoods as much as I could. I began to understand how they were treated as children and realized that because of the way they were brought up, they could only teach me what they had been taught. At that point, it was easier for me to let them go and stop blaming them. By doing that, I could blame my parents less, I could love them more. I could see them as frightened children who had no knowledge of how to teach and support a child with love and understanding. Forgiveness is a tricky and confusing concept for many people. We can approach it in different ways. If you were to ask people if they believe in forgiveness, most would say yes. However, when they are asked to forgive someone in particular, they immediately shout, "No. Never." This is because they don't understand what forgiveness really is. They don't understand that giving up resentment, even if someone hurt you deeply, is an act of releasing yourself from the burden of hatred. Forgiveness is not about excusing someone else's actions, it's about freeing yourself from the bitterness and pain that you carry. It's about letting go of your own negative emotions and moving on to a place of peace. Forgiveness is essential in the healing process. When we hold on to resentment and anger, we are the ones who suffer. The person who wronged us may not even be aware of the depth of our pain. By forgiving, we release the toxic emotions that weigh us down and keep us stuck in a cycle of negativity. When we forgive, we allow ourselves to move forward, to grow, and to heal. In my journey, I learned that forgiveness is not a one-time event, it's a process. It requires patience, compassion, and a willingness to let go of the past. It's a journey that begins with understanding and ends with peace. As I worked through my own process of forgiveness, I began to experience a profound sense of relief and healing. The burden of my past began to lift, and I felt lighter, freer, and more at peace with myself. The anger and resentment that had once consumed me were replaced by a sense of love and compassion, both for myself and for others. This journey of self-healing and forgiveness taught me the power of love and compassion. It showed me that true healing begins from within, and that by releasing the past, we can create a brighter, healthier future for ourselves. ***, loving myself ***. Over time, I have learned to love and care for myself in ways that I never imagined possible. I have become my own best friend, and I treat myself with the kindness, respect, and love that I deserve. I have learned that self-love is not selfish, it's essential. It's the foundation upon which all other love is built. When we love and care for ourselves, we are better able to love and care for others. We can give from a place of abundance, rather than from a place of lack. In loving myself, I have also learned the importance of setting boundaries and saying no when necessary. I have learned to listen to my inner voice and trust my intuition. I have learned to honor my needs and to prioritize my well-being. I have learned that self-care is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Through this journey, I have come to understand that we are all worthy of love and respect. We all deserve to be treated with kindness and compassion by others and by ourselves. We are all deserving of happiness, health, and success. As I continue on this journey, I am committed to loving myself more and more each day. I am committed to treating myself with the love, kindness, and respect that I deserve. I am committed to creating a life that is filled with love, joy, and fulfillment. And I am committed to helping others do the same. This journey has not been easy, but it has been worth it. It has been a journey of self-discovery, healing, and transformation. It has been a journey of learning to love and care for myself in ways that I never thought possible. And it has been a journey of creating a life that is filled with love, joy, and fulfillment. As I look back on my journey, I am filled with gratitude for all that I have learned and experienced. I am grateful for the challenges and obstacles that have helped me grow and become stronger. I am grateful for the love and support that I have received from others along the way. and I am grateful for the love and compassion that I have found within myself. This journey of self-love and healing is ongoing, and I am excited to continue on this path. I know that there will be more challenges and obstacles along the way, but I also know that I am strong and resilient. I know that I have the tools and the inner strength to overcome whatever comes my way. And I know that I am worthy of all the love, joy, and fulfillment that life has to offer.